It's the Will Rain Show with Johnny Royal, the housewife's friend. He's a little steamed today. One of his heroes has shucked his mortal coil. I didn't hear about this just before he broke the news to me just before we went on the air. But not being a big chess fan, I can't say I'm brokenhearted. But I saw the news hit you rather hard there.
Oh yeah, this is rough. One of the biggest American idols, Bobby Fischer, died last Thursday.
Be like the Babe Ruth of chess, wouldn't it?
No, even better than Babe Ruth.
Lou Gehrig, maybe.
Nobody has rivaled this guy.
Yogi Berra.
Even bigger, even bigger. Nobody has touched his records. Nobody. Probably no one's going to touch his records, soon.
And he was a political lightning rod, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of Bobby Fischer tended to say stuff that did not endear him with the U.S. government, and then he went off and lived where?
Where
was he living? He was living.
He died in Iceland, where he got citizenship because we revoked his visa. The man was in isolation for 20 years, playing chess online and stuff, and
man without a country,
still studying, and he isolated himself. And then
now, how did that start? Why did Bobby Fischer go into exile? You know that stuff.
Well, back in the 60s and the 70s, when we had a little Gestapo commie hunting parties and stuff like that. They said
that name, by the way, is Johnny Royal. When the IRS wants to audit you, we're the Gestapo. What's his name? Johnny Royal.
I'll give you my Social Security number right after
give me
this.
your Social Security number. It makes it a lot easier.
I'll make it a lot easier to track you down. But
with the brand new sensitive IRS, they'll be sure to find you a prison near your family.
America was always preaching for him to be a hero, and he was, but they wanted him to say the things they wanted to say, and he said a couple anti-American things that he was mad about, and he didn't like being watched, and he was like Lennon, a security. They considered John Lennon, a security risk too, who mysteriously died. But the whole thing is he went in isolation, finally ran out of money, and his old Russian nemesis, they put up $5 million for him to
Kasparov.
They could put up $5 million for him to come play, and he says, sure, I need the money, I'll go. But the U.S. denied him a visa to go. And he says, I'm going to go. I need to eat. So he went and played and won very easily, without a problem. $5 million in his pocket. He ended up in China or Japan or something. And nice America revoked his visa.
We take a lot of things for granted. A lot of freedoms have been lost. Did you know that prior to World War I, you could pretty much travel anywhere you wanted? Do anything you wanted. A guy could strap on his 6-shooter, get on board a ship with his horse, and go anywhere. There were no passports, no visa. That started after about 1917, 1918, when the Europeans didn't want unbridled immigration from countries that had been tossed around in the maelstrom of World War I.
So Fischer sits in prison, and finally somebody figured out who it was, and they go, we can't hold a world hero in our prison. We're going to give you a temporary visa and let you go to Iceland. So he went to Iceland, got married, and they said, oh, sure, we'll give you citizenship without a problem. And what Fischer was worried about is America threatened to go to Iceland because we have this open trade agreement with Iceland. They threatened to go get him and bring him to the U.S. to put him in prison again.
We know where you are, Fischer. We can't get Bin Laden, but we know where you were.
So I'm really upset. Then there better be no sneaky stuff with this death.
Because you'll be launching a Senate committee hearing into the death of Bobby Fischer.
I will be pissed.
I'm sure the people in Washington are scared.
It was 92 years ago that a guy had an idea.
Hey, how about if we deliver the pizza right to the customer?
What? You're kidding,
Crazy.
As it turns out, that early pizza visionary was right. A short time ago, Another guy had an idea.
Hey, let's deliver radio right to people's desktop.
The Will Rain Show.